Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today we're going to cover the Black Machine deck that's coming out of Classic Collection. We're back doing our deck profiles on Classic Collection, and this is one of the most hyped ones because of what we know it's going to evolve into. This is just the beginning stages of it. Future sets, we're going to see a little bit more support of it. I'll go ahead and mention a few things during this deck profile of what I'm excited about moving forward after this set. But this is just the foundation. This is what we're going to build upon, and this is going to create a whole new basic archetype of like how to play. This is going to be this dark level 5 like machine deck, okay? Don't forget our memory marker for this month for Patreon for the month of December is Yokomon, handmade out of clay by my wife. Super adorable, hand painted, made out of clay, all the little tendrils and stuff on top. Super adorable. Absolutely love this thing. Probably one of the most complicated ones we've had on the channel to date. Very cool. Also, if you want any of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, check the coffee link in the description below. There you can see all of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel. Now, the benefit of going through Patreon, though, is whatever the featured memory marker is for the month, you actually get at a discounted rate, you know, free shipping, that sort of thing, if you're a Patreon supporter. So definitely keep that in mind. So jumping in here, first up, we got Pagumon. This is out of BT6 here, and this is the on deletion reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a black Digimon, you can add it to your hand. Otherwise, it goes to the bottom of your deck. Just really good at replacing resources. If you lose something on field, whatever it is, just being able to get more value back to hand. I mean, that's always good. Basically, anytime you can get free draws from your deck, that's really easy to kind of accomplish. You know, definitely take advantage of that. So, really liking Pagumon for most black decks, honestly, at this point. Next, we got the new Hagurumon here. This is on play. Trash a machine or cyborg type from your hand to draw 2. This thing is really good. If you saw the feature match, just being able to fill your trash with those level 5s that you need for your Machinedramon is awesome. That alone is really good. But also drawing 2 is insane. You're going to replace that value. You're going to run a little bit more level 5s in this deck than you would in most decks, simply because you do trash a good amount of them. Yeah, absolutely love this guy. Great value card. Then we got 2 of the vanillas as well. Again, he is a machine type, so there is no level restriction on this. So you can ditch your other Hagurumons to get that draw 2 in case of emergencies. You know, if you need to get into higher level pieces, you can always ditch any excess that you've got. So that's why we're going with this guy here. Then we got 3 Chumon. I think memory blockers are still really good. Just looking at what the kind of most played decks are in this format, one of them being Gabubons. Gabubons has 3 different option cards that they are running that all give them memory. So turning all of those option cards off is huge, especially hitting them in security, especially hitting like a Hammer Spark in security, not letting them gain that memory till pass turn back to them. Very good. So we've bumped up our memory blockers to 3 of for this format. Basically, as long as Gabubons is just a absolute menace in this format, that's our main priority. Is definitely taking that one out. As well as there are plenty of other decks in the format. I've gone over too many times now. Next, we got Toy Agumon, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about this one. Originally, whenever I put it in here, I just wanted the draw power. We need to get into our Machinedramons. We need to get into our big key pieces, our key megas, and that sort of thing. We do all this trashing of our level 5s. We need to draw more to replace those that we're discarding constantly. But the thing is, most of the time that we're discarding those, it's to draw 2. So this card kind of became a little bit less relevant just because I was getting those draws anyways. But even still, more draw is great. Just like with the Pagumon that I talked about, anytime you can get more cards in hand for free very easily, definitely take advantage of it. And that's basically what Toy Agumon is. And when your opponent's turn ends, if your opponent didn't attack with a Digimon, just didn't attack with a single one, you can draw 1. So that comes up a lot, a pretty good amount. Then we got the Sealsdramon here. This is just our blocker, our first level 4 here. If you'll notice, all of our level 4s are all blockers. This is just the most basic one. 2 Evo cost, 6,000 DP. If you attack, you lose 2 memory. Classic stuff. Then we got Machinedramon, and this thing is a freaking house. If you've run Machinedramon, you know the value of this card. Especially in this format, this thing is so good. Especially against all these kind of like rookie rush decks. A lot of the bonds decks are heavily rookie rush. If they can't get into their bonds, then the second best thing that they can do is just straight rookie rush you, and then Machinedramon just says, nah, you ain't rookie rushing anybody. So it can't attack your opponent. It's a blocker, but the best thing is, if you don't know, opponent's turn, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, unsuspend it. So you can, and it's not once per turn, so you can just keep unsuspending constantly. Fend off 5, 6, 7, however many attacks your opponent wants to throw at it. You can fend them off. So in our feature match, we went against D Brigade, and in a lot of our testing videos that we did, Machinedramon, once it hit the field, just shut down D Brigade so hard. The deck just struggled so much. And then the 6,000 DP also isn't anything to shake at, because even Edamon is 6,000. So in that, the whole deck just absolutely just quivered when Machinedramon hit the field. Next, we got the new Guardramon here. Sorry, it is in Japanese there, so I'll go ahead and pull this up. It is a blocker, and it can't attack your opponent. So, that's a bit of a drawback. But basically, our level 4s are just designed to stall the opponent until we can fill the trash up with enough level 5s to hard play a level 6. So a lot of times, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of times, you don't even need to Digivolve a level 5 onto your level 4. So you're just going to sit on these blockers for the duration of the game a lot of times. But when you do need to, this Inheritable is great. So when attacking, you may trash a Digimon card with a machine or cyborg and its type to trigger draw 2. So again, taking it back to the Hagurumon that we saw earlier, does the same exact thing, except for this is an Inheritable for when attacking. So that's really, really awesome. Say you can't get into your Machinedramons for whatever reason, Digivolve a level 5 on top of this guy, swing, trigger this. That's more draw power, as well as, you're trashing, potentially more level 5s. Maybe the level 5 that just swung, it will die in security or clash with something else, and they'll both kill each other, whatever. Get more level 5s in trash, as well as you're drawing more. So really, really cool combos right there. Next, we're going to get into our level 5 package here. First up, we have Andromon, which was probably my favorite one to go with out of all of these. So all of these when digivolving effects on these first 3 here is reveal the top 3 of your deck, add a level 6 Digimon machine and its type among them to your hand, trash remaining cards. Mainly, you're just adding Machinedramon. That's the idea, is to just add Machinedramon off of these. Very, very cool stuff, for sure. Just helping you get into it. Like, preferably, you just want to trash these guys and then just go Machinedramon to bring them all back. But in those cases where you can't get Machinedramon, or you don't have it, these guys' built-in effects are really good for getting you there. But then Andromon is my favorite because he gives blocker to your machine that digivolves on top of this guy. So that's really good, just because a lot of the megas that we're playing don't have it built in. So giving it to them is really good. And then if you combine that with the Metal Tyrannomon here with Reboot, then you're doing a lot of the black shenanigans that black loves to do so much. So black or blocker Reboot is a great combo. Then we got the Metal Mamemon, which is pretty cool. When attacking, if this Digimon has machine in its type, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. So any opponents that are going back to these 2 Evo cost, 5 play cost blockers, just being able to pop those with the Metal Mamemon, very, very cool stuff. So just a 2 of here. And the reason that is because normally, you want to use these guys to pop blockers. Well, we have a way that blockers don't really matter, which we'll cover in just a second here. Next up, we got Machinedramon, which is on play. Delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less. That was really cool against D-Brigade. D-Brigade has a lot of those Commandramons that it loves to just cycle constantly, and being able to pop 2 was, pretty neat. But really, we're just playing it here for that security attack +1. You're just going to trash this guy into the trash as soon as possible, so that way you can just put him underneath later on. And then the reason I said we don't really need to worry about the popping of blockers too much is because we got the Metal Greymon here, and this one gives piercing as an inheritable. So if you have piercing, then needing to pop 5 play cost, particularly the blockers, isn't really relative. Now, the fact that you're just getting to pop Digimon on your opponent's field is awesome. Like, absolutely, that's really good. So just being able to control your opponent's field, that's less stuff they have to attack you with on the following turn, all that sort of stuff. So Metal Mamemon is still good, don't get me wrong. Piercing just helps offset that a little bit, I think. When attacking, when this Digimon attacks a player, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. So if you're just in that tight spot where you need to control your opponent's field in an emergency, and you really want to Digivolve on top of this guy, but it's going to pass your turn, first you just need to attack, swing with this guy, and pop something. Swing over a blocker that might be suspended already, and then also pop something else like a rookie that's beside it. Getting to basically delete 2 things at once is kind of the idea for this guy. It never came up, but I suppose just having the ability is still really cool. Now we're getting on to the main reason we're here, and this is the new Machinedramon. 3 Evo cost on a red or black. That's how we're able to play these new reds here. And on play, though, this is the ideal way to get this guy on field. You may place up to 5 red or black level 5 Digimon cards with Cyborg in their type with different card numbers from your hand or trash at the top of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and to gain 1 memory for each. So the idea is to bring back all these guys, different with different numbers, and then you're going to have this whole slew of different abilities. So reboot blocker, deleting stuff, security attack +1, piercing. So the idea is to get all 5 of those underneath him to reduce his play cost. So make him a play cost 7 mega. But in addition to that, all turns this Digimon's DP cannot be reduced. So Wyvern's Breath, all those like security control sort of things, really cool. Just yellow in general, just being able to just shut them down, that's cool. But also all turns when this Digimon would be deleted, you may trash 2 level 5 Digimon cards from this Digimon's Digivolution cards instead. So again, playing against security control, you just swing into security. They go for those delete effects, Gaia Force, whatever, the Iron Fisted Onslaught. Just going to trash 2 Digivolution sources underneath this guy, and he sticks around on the field. So, whatever's the weakest thing in that moment, whatever's the least relevant. If it's Metal Mamemon, you've already attacked, so you're not going to get any win attacking abilities. So, he could go, say, you've already, done your piercing, so you can trash the Metal Greymon, and then, keep your security attack +1, so that way you can get that second check-in, or say that was the second check-in, then you can trash the Megadramon, whatever the situation calls for, trash those that are least relevant. The reason I didn't bring up these other 2 is because they're really good for the following turn. So your attack's done, it's over with, you survived, you pass your turn to your opponent, now they're going to reboot and they have blocker. So these are like my last, ditch sort of ones to get rid of for sure. Also, I kind of mentioned earlier, but with the black card, Ultimate Flare, that's going to de-Digivolve, make sure you put these guys in the right order. The order really, really matters. So they're going to de-Digivolve 3 on you. So 1, 2, 3. That's pretty brutal. So you're going to have three left. Make sure that your most important 3 are at the bottom, and then keep the other ones closer to the top. So I always like to keep Andromon at the absolute bottom because that blocker I think is super relevant, and then reboot on top of that, and then probably like the security attack +1 after that. That's just my personal take. Again, it also is very dependent on the matchup, so keep that in mind as well. So Machinedramon looking really cool. Now we're going to look at our options of what we want for our secondary mega, okay? And that's really where the tricky part of this deck comes in, is finding the secondary mega, was like the biggest pain for me. First up, for my deck profile on the feature match, I went with this Machinedramon. This is just when Digivolving up to 2 gain reboot. So what a lot of things I like to do is like swing in with some like rookies or whatever level 4s, and if anything survives, if any one of those survives, then I Digivolve into this guy and swing, and so gives himself reboot, and whatever survived, I give them reboot as well. And so then whenever it goes to my opponent's turn, they both unsuspend. So if it's that rookie and that rookie somehow survived, he can unsuspend, so my opponent can't easily just walk over and clear him. So that was the one I went with, 11,000 DP. Mainly, I just wanted a secondary thing that I could Evo with. We'll get into the others, but a lot of the others weren't really good Evo targets necessarily. First, we have the original Machinedramon. This is just the one that has blocker built in, but we run Andromon at a decent amount anyway, and we have machine, so we're going to get that value. And again, I really wanted machines as my secondary mega because of all these when Digivolving abilities. Being able to add them to hand is really important. But on play, Digivolve 2 on 2 of your opponent's stuff. We've seen really good value in that. That's really awesome. I just don't think in this current format it's that good. Against Gabubons, it's completely useless, I think. The only thing you can maybe use it on is be like a hybrid that is somehow still alive on field. But that's about it. You're not going to see a Gabubons just sitting there on field to target. Against Jesmon's going to sit in raising area until it's ready to get promoted and then beat your face in. And at that point, Machinedramon's basically already too late. And the blocker isn't really relevant against that because Jesmon's going to have piercing. So this one just felt, in this current meta, not really relevant. Our next target, though, was the Blitz Greymon here. I just thought it was kind of interesting, but he is only a cyborg type. I was really hoping he would be a machine, but, the security attack +1 for that extra bit of punch power, and the Digiburst 2 for one of your opponents gets, or one of your Digimon gets +4,000. This is, like I said, a really good punching card for a little bit more offense. Part of what I felt really lacked in this deck was the offensive capability. You're going to stall forever with your level 4s, with your blockers, right? Until you can fill up your trash with these guys. In those rare occurrences where you need a Digivolve, you're going to get one Inheritable on whichever mega you want to go into. And that was it. Maybe you'll get this security attack +1, maybe for a little bit of offensive power, the piercing, that sort of thing. But you're really, really lacking. So, the Blitz Greymon was kind of another one I kind of looked at just a little bit. But ultimately, it came down to just wanting to run this one as the only one that was like kind of viable. However, come next set, BT7, this is the one. This is the card that made this deck just take off. In Japan, once BT7 hit, this deck really came alive, and we really got to see it actually take form in meta, taking tournaments. It was because of this card being basically your secondary mega is what it kind of came out to be. So you're going to drop this one, which was just kind of a meh choice anyways, and then you're going to go into this the Chaosdramon. And so your Machinedramon can Digivolve into this card in your hand for a memory cost of 1, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. So that's awesome. Just completely ignoring that, going into this guy for a 1 cost. So say you hard played this guy, he has all those Inheritables, and then you can just Digivolve him into this guy. So for 1 Evo. After all of that, of all those Inheritables and stuff. That's really cool. And then when Digivolving, you may place 1 red or black level 5 Digimon with Cyborg in its type from your hand or trash at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Then, for each level 5 Digimon with Cyborg in its type in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. That's a mouthful. Basically, you're going to bring this guy out, put 5 things underneath him, okay, and then Digivolve into this Chaosdramon. You can put in another one underneath him if you want, so they'll go into, that'll give him essentially 7 Inheritables, but 6 of them will be your level 5s. So that's 6 Digimon you can pop with 6,000 DP or less. Jeez, that is a nuke right there. Absolutely. I mean, that is, and for 1 Evo cost, like that's the killer, is 1 Evo cost, and you get to just boom, drop this guy and just blow something up. Wow. Wow. Just dang. I mean, that's so much better than Alter S. Alter S just wishes it could do something like that, delete that many for 1 Evo cost. Granted, Alter S gets the Digivolve 1, but still, this thing is awesome. So this will be your secondary Mega moving forward, just because it completely plays in with the strategy. Like, it's the perfect combination for this deck, for what they want in a Mega. So, you know, you can really go ham on these. Also, you can just Digivolve on top of one of your level 5s. You know, for 4 Evo cost, it's a little steep, but still, you get to go into it. You'll have your level 5 underneath, get to add a second level 5 underneath, and that's still 2 pops guaranteed at the minimum. So, very, very cool stuff. Loving this as our secondary. Cannot wait for that. But unfortunately, now is not the time yet, sadly. Moving on, we've got Zwart Defeat. I'm a big fan of Defeat right now in this format, especially whenever I can Digivolve it. And that's the real killer for me, is for like black and purple decks, I'm really liking Defeat, because Digivolve with Defeat and pop one of your Bonds Tamers that your opponent's playing. Removing the Bonds Tamers so they can't warp Digivolve will just completely eat that deck for breakfast. I mean, then all they've got is Rookie Rush. And in this deck, if you're playing Rookie Rush against this deck, you're going to just get destroyed. Like, hands down, you're going to get annihilated. So as long as you can go Defeat, pop in those Tamers, and they can't warp Digivolve, they are done. And you're going to clean that matchup completely. Next, we got Iron Fisted Onslaught. I'm just a big fan of having 2 removals in my decks. That's just a personal call for me. Just, you never know, those really tough, hard to clear things are going to sit on the board, and you're going to be like, I have no out to that. I'm completely dead in the water. I have nothing I can do about that. We do have Defeat, which is pretty good, but aside from that, you know, we're looking at these 11,000 DP Digimon here. You know, your opponent drops 11,000 or 12,000 Digimon on field, and you can't clear it. You just cannot clear it. There's just nothing you can do about it. Zwart comes down on top of a Beelstarmon or something like that. Jessmon, whatever. You can't clear it. And Iron Fisted Onslaught is your way to get around that for black, I think. You could go Ultimate Flare, but I've seen Ultimate Flare not really affect things. Now, if Craniumon, like it is becoming more and more of a problem, you might have to look away from Iron Fisted Onslaught, and you might have to go into Ultimate Flare as your removal option. At least, if nothing else, taking something down 1 Evo could be huge. Taking it down 2, that's going to get rid of their level 7 and their level 6, and that's very easily killable range after that. But then not all times that works. So I've definitely been in cases where Ultimate Flare was just a complete dud and did absolutely nothing. So yeah, just a personal call on what you want your removal option to be. And then next we got the ties. We want a memory fixer, of course. You gotta have a memory fixer. We have tons of 3 Evo cost here. You want a 3 Evo cost and then start swinging, whether it be Machinedramon, or Zwart Defeat. Even your level 5s here, your 3 Evo costs, being able to go into these guys and then attack with your Metal Greymon, or go into these guys, search your Machinedramon, and then Evo that Machinedramon, get that blocker going or whatever it is, that's really, really relevant of being able to have 3 memory at the start of your turn. So I went with 3 memory fixers just to have that guaranteed, absolutely. But also, opponent's turn, all of your black Digimon get plus 1,000 DP. So all of our level 4s, all of them go up to 7,000 DP blockers. That is huge. I mean, that is a really difficult thing to deal with. Just so many things that just cannot handle that. Even if you're playing against something like Yellow War Greymon, I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. Minus 6,000 DP. Haha, we're still on the field. So you're going to have to put in a little bit more work than just War Greymon to clear these guys, as long as Ty is on the field. Especially you start getting multiples on field, and yeah, your opponent will really start to suffer at that point. An 8,000 DP blocker, that's stopping level 5s from attacking, okay? So really, really liking this. It was really relevant in the feature match, if you saw the feature match. And the last card I just wanted to kind of mention, it's clearly built for this deck, or it was made to go with this deck. I just didn't really have the room, and honestly, I don't know if it really felt relevant. But you may trash one of your level 5 Digimon with Cyborg and its type from your hand to gain 2 memory, then draw 1, which basically turns this into a 0 cost option that gives you 1 memory and you draw 1. So it's a 1 play, but you're going to discard and gain 2 back. So you gain 1 memory and you draw a card and you put a level 5 in trash. That's kind of neat. I don't know if it really, gaining 1 memory is going to matter that much to me. The draw power, again, we have so much draw power in this deck, it's absurd. The Hagurumon here, the Pagumons here, the Garderbron is so good. Garderbron, we had tons of draw power. The Toy Agumon getting you more draw power just for literally doing nothing. Just if your opponent just sits there, that draw power felt really covered in this, so I don't think this is quite necessary. It's just a little bit of an extra card that's mediocre, I would say at best. It's not bad. It's just, I would say it's mediocre because you have to take something else out of the deck. If you don't want, I guess, any removal, you could take the removal out and add 2 copies of this if you want it. If you want to go that route. But I personally thought the deck was so tight already that I just did not have space for it. But I did at least want to mention it for you. And that's going to do it for the deck profile. I'll zoom out so you can see the whole deck here. And if you want to take a screenshot or whatever, just for to have on hand. Very, very cool deck. I think it's going to have a lot of potential. And in the future, we're definitely going to see something coming of this deck. Absolutely. Once we get the secondary mega situation sorted out in this deck, it's going to be pretty top notch, I would say. Maybe not top tier, but top notch for sure. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really, really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yamon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. And every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. Super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very, very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves. So the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much, unfortunately, they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways. So definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.